Hi, Professor. This is my third assignment, chat assignment. I just wanted to go through my code with you. So I started my code with two arrays that just hold the client names and they hold the client sockets. A friend and I decided to format our messages so that they were coming cleanly and it would say where it was coming from. My first chat method, the name is just receiving the name and then decoding and stripping it. And the client names.append name, that will add that name to the names array. And the client sockets.append s will add that socket to the socket array and synchronize the sockets. Message, the message line, that just receives a message. It's just a basic receiving line. But once you receive that first message, you need the while loop in order for it to see if you're still chatting. And that first line in the while loop is just to format our message and keep formatting it while messages stay coming in. And for each client, as long as it's not the same socket as itself, it'll be sending messages. And then outside of the for loop, or outside of the if statement, and the for loop, it will get the next message and continue. Continue to run until the chat is over. Just try and accept. It's for shutting down the socket. The accept is basically just in case it can't shut down. And then after that, we just close the socket and we have to remove the name and remove the corresponding socket. And onto my main method. I use another try and accept here just to get the port number. The accept is more just if the port number isn't a number, then it will throw an error and exit the system. S is the socket. It creates a socket. And then s dot set sock op will set the socket options. Bind just binds the socket to the port, and then it just listens for connections after that. And we had, while it's true, we had another try and accept, just to find connections. So this socket and address dot accept, or s dot accept, those being s dot accept, it can find a connection to each other and set up the thread to start talking to the socket by setting the chatter variable. And chatter.daemon just make sure they don't explicitly join. And then the chat starts. Unless the server is shutting down, that's what the accept is for. Then if the server is shutting down, for each client, it needs to shut down the socket and close that socket, and um, make sure it closes out the socket in order to stop the communication. Onto my client file. So my chat client, I started with the receive method. It's receiving a socket. Um, this is mainly just to try and accept. That gets the message with message equals s.receive. And while that socket is still up and running, it should be printing that message, and it should be getting the next message that is sent, if there is one. This exception is if there's an OS error, and then it shouldn't be sending messages, and therefore it won't. And the os.exit just quits the thread and all. The main function for my chat client, the try and accept, it just sets a port to a specific number. Unless that is not a number, then it exits. S equals socket.socket, sets a socket. Once again, and then it will connect to the local host, which is important for the communication, in order to have communication. And then receiver, what that does is it'll set up a thread in order for the messages to go back and forth. And then name, the name variable, the first message should be the name of whatever. So how we formatted it, the name will be the first message. And after that, there will be that name formatted before your message every time. And this just starts the receiving thread. This is just getting a message again. And then we need to send it through just a while loop just to send messages and the next message. And after that's done, you can basically shut down by using socket shutdown and closing out the socket. But that is how communication works through the chat server and client. Thank you.